Oi, what is happening, troops? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm out on the Sinnis Terrain T380 and we're just going to go through a little review on it. I've had a little bit of time now out and about on it, and yeah, I thought it was about time we do a review. So here we go. I'll go for a little walk around. You can expect to pick this up for 4,495 on the road. That's without the side boxes. Obviously if you want the boxes, that's going to put it up to 4,799. As you can see, obviously I've got the boxes on this one. The capacity of them is actually quite impressive. It surprised me. They're sort of aluminium, but they are decent. The only thing that lets them down is that each one of these locks all has its individual key. So you actually end up with a lot of keys on your key ring there. But yeah, they seem quite well made. But I think it's just sort of cheap material. Oh, got me all weathers in there. Your tyres then, I've read into these, apparently they're not that great. I think these ones they come with are some sort of cheap Chinese brand. I might look at getting a better set of tyres on these. I wouldn't definitely start ragging it around some of these lanes with the current ones on. Suspension then, you obviously got your dual forks at the front and you've got a single shock at the back. They say they're adjustable. I haven't figured out how yet, but yeah, they say they're adjustable. It probably does need adjusting because that suspension will throw you about quite a lot. So you've got your twin parallel engine there. Obviously it's protected by all these crash guards that you've got all around the bike there. Quite nice and snugly fit away there, nice and protected. Let's bring you to the screen here. You can see it there loading up. I'm not so sure about this screen. As you can see that, oh yes, when I load it up there you see the two different colours. That happens quite a lot when you're riding around. It's a light reactive thing. I don't think it really makes too much difference depending on the light you're in. I think the only one you're ever really going to notice is the night mode, which is that one obviously. But when you're riding around it will flicker between this with the white background and blue gauges to a sort of golden orangey one. So just expect that when you're out and about that it will start flickering around, and it distracts me quite a lot. All the gauges are on the side here, so you've got your engine light, neutral, oil, ABS and all that good stuff. Indicators though, when you put them on, they come up at the tops of them. They're quite hard to see. I quite often, when I'm out riding, can't really tell if I've got my indicators left on or not. Ideally I think they should have them on here somewhere rather than on there. They're a bit hard to see. But yeah, the information, it is quite good. I've got a couple of complaints. Average mile per gallon there, I've never seen that change from 999. It's always on 999, so I don't think that works particularly well. I've seen that happen on a few other people's as well. Your trip, your odometer, battery voltage there, obviously your speedo, your temperature gauge and fuel gauge. You have got a 12 volt charger port there, and you've also got a USB charging port there. So if you wanted to, you could have your phone charging and have a GPS hanging off that. However, if you look at it, it's quite a busy set of handlebars already. I've got the heated grips on there. And obviously where the handguards are as well, it's starting to get busy already. So, and if you start putting your quad lock on there to put your phone on and a GPS, it's going to be really quite a lot going on up here. So it's just something to bear in mind. So this windshield, it is really nice. Having that, usually I ride the SV650 as I said. Having that windshield does make a massive difference. However, being 6'3", it's just a little bit too short. So I probably will end up putting a sort of extension on that. Aesthetically, it is a really nice looking bike. It reminds me of the Triumph Tiger quite a lot. I've heard a few people say that as well. But yeah. Aesthetically, really nice looking bike. So you've got your electric start switch there. Now there is a complaint I've got with this. When you're revving it and you're riding it around, when you let go of the throttle and you close it, the engine does seem to hang on a little bit. So it just makes shifting down gears sometimes a little bit interesting. So just I almost give it half a second before I change gears after letting go of the throttle. Yeah, it just hangs on a little bit there. But yeah, for a small bike, it does sound quite nice. So the bike itself, it is an A2 compliant motorbike. So you're not going to expect massive speeds or huge power from this. It is a 380cc engine, 6-speed gearbox. I'll delve into the gears later, but don't expect miracles from the gears. It's an 8-cylinder liquid cooled, and I think it's got 36.5 brake horsepower, so it's well under the A2 compliant limit, which I believe is about 47. So yeah, even for an A2, it's not that powerful. It's not the top end of the A2 sort of bikes. But that said, it can move when you want it to. The engine itself is a parallel twin. It does get quite vibraty. When you start picking up speed and changing through the gears, you get a lot of vibration through the bike itself. But yeah, the gears, like I said earlier, they're not. I think they need working on. I'm doing 50 miles an hour at the moment, 5,000 revs there, and it's vibrating a hell of a lot. Shifting through the gears, it's nice smooth transitions. However, going up, it doesn't make a lot of difference. It just seems to be screaming at you until you hit 6th. Yeah, it definitely needs, the gears definitely need looking into. Obviously 1 to 2nd, you can tell there's a difference, but 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, the engine, it just sounds the same, and it doesn't feel like the gears are really making that much difference. The revs hardly change. Until you get to 6th gear, you won't really notice a change in the engine pitch much. Yeah, they say the top speed on this thing is 90 miles per hour. I will admit, I've not tested that. I took it to a bit of private land and I got it up to about 85, and the rev limiter there, that was in the red, and the bike was really screaming at me. So I'm not convinced it will do 90, and if it does, it surely will not be doing the bike any good whatsoever. Yeah, the fuel tank on this is 18 litres. They say it gets 50 miles per gallon, so you're looking at a range of about 200 miles, I think that works out. When I initially got hold of the bike, I filled it up. Since doing them, I've done a fair bit of mileage, to be honest. I'm on half a tank now, but yeah, the fuel consumption does seem pretty good, to be fair. I reckon you probably get a little bit more than 200. That said, I have been driving it sensibly where I wasn't used to the bike, and obviously if you're going to start thrashing it about, it's going to make quite a bit of difference. Yeah, there you go, look, quite good at manoeuvring. Slow speed turn there, that was quite a small turning circle for such a big bike. Yeah, considering the size of the engine and the power and everything, it's a lot of bike. It's a lot of bike that this engine's got to carry about. It weighs in at 200 kilos. I believe that's dry, because as soon as you start adding fuel onto that, and your back boxes as well, I don't know whether that's been taken account. But yeah, it's a heavy bike. I think you're probably looking more at around 220, 230 with a full tank of fuel and the side boxes on and the rear box and whatever. Yeah, so it is a lot of bike to manoeuvre around. You don't really notice it when you're moving, obviously. But when I first got hold of it, putting it on the centre stand was that was interesting. I figured it out now. I can do it every time. But the first couple of times, I struggled. Put it that way. It's a lot of bike to move about. It's comfortable. If you're a tall rider, this is ideal. The seat is, I believe it's 820mm, but it feels like a tall bike, like a really nice, comfortable bike. My seating position is ideal. Compared to the Suzuki I usually ride in, this is luxurious comfort compared to that. I'm quite cramped up on that, but this seems decent for tall riders. I'm about 6'3", so if you're a tall rider, this is decent for you. The seat itself is really comfy. I don't know what it is, but the foam or whatever it is that they've put in it, gel whatever, is proper comfy. So if you're looking at the additional sort of running cost for this bike, it's going to cost you 52 quid a year in tax, and they say that the annual servicing is about £110. So it's not an overly expensive bike to run. Obviously the fuel consumption's, it's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. 18 litre tank there that you're going to be filling up every 200 miles roughly, so overall not an expensive bike to run. The insurance isn't massive either. Obviously I've got I put this on a multi-bike insurance plan, and it pushed it up by like, I think it was about 10 quid a month, so it's not even really noticeable. So it is a cheap sort of bike to maintain and run around on the road with. But yeah, overall Obviously, I've got my complaints with it, with the gearbox. That just needs, I think, scrapping and doing again. Other than that, it's hard to pick faults in, really. It's incredibly comfy. I could definitely see myself loading it up with loads of gear and get myself to like the ABR festival and stuff like that, and being alright on a long distance journey. Again, no, going back to the gearbox, I just wouldn't rag this on a long distance journey for too long, because I think the way the engine screams at you, I think it'll eventually have dramas. But yeah, overall, so far, gleaming bit of kit. Really fun little bike, especially if you're on your A2 licence. You can have fun on this before jumping into your big bikes on your A licences. You can definitely have fun on this bike. The control with this bike as well, it's, again, heavy bike, but you can manoeuvre it like it's like just a smaller bike. Obviously, if you've got the boxes on like I have, you've got to remember, you've got to give everything a bit more space. If you're filtering, then you're probably going to have dramas, but yeah, overtaking and stuff, just remember you've got those boxes on. It's a big bike, bulky bike, got all the boxes on and everything. But yeah, manoeuvrability. I've got into some corners a little bit too quick on this, and managed to, I probably shouldn't, but managed to lean it over quite a lot, enough to get me out of trouble. So you can definitely throw it around corners. Obviously, like I said, it's not a missile, it's not a quick bike, so you can't really overcook it too much into corners, but yeah. Yeah, there you go. Bit of manoeuvrability around that roundabout there. You can definitely do some nice little turns on it. But yeah, overall, loving it so far. I'd recommend it if you're wanting to dip your toes into the adventure biking world. Obviously, it's not going to be a sort of touch on any of the Tigers or BMW GSs, but for a little starter adventure bike, I recommend it. As long as you can look past the problem with the gears. Let's give it a test on this trail up here. Being that it claims to be an adventure bike, it would be wrong not to take it off-road, wouldn't it? Well, it seems quite rattly on this trail. Like I said, I've never ridden a bike not on the road. This is the first time ever doing it. I don't know if that's what bikes do normally, whether they just sound rattly going across this sort of terrain. But this does sound quite rattly. The grip seems alright on the tyres. Maybe they're not as bad as I thought. However, it's not like the most off-roady scenario I could have taken it on. But I thought I'd have to get it down something just to give it a test. This is actually quite fun. Yeah, it does seem quite at home actually on this sort of terrain. Yeah, seems alright. Yeah, this seems quite at home on this sort of terrain. I'll cap it there. If you'd be so kind, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Do drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. If you've got one, let me know what you think. If you've tried one, let me know what you think, so on. I will get back to you. And until next time, stay low, move fast, and take it easy, guys. Catch you around.